Welcome to the series where we play through every Harry Potter game chapter by chapter. This episode will finish coverage of Chapter 5. We'll pick up right where we left off with Harry Potter for the Game Boy Color. Having withdrawn money from Gringotts, Harry must purchase his school supplies. First, let's check the shopping list. On screen, Harry only reads about 2 items.
One standard size 2 pewter cauldron, and may bring, if they desire, either an owl, a cat, or a toad.
According to the book, there are many more items on the list, some of which are indeed on this list in the game. The book describes Harry and Hagrid visiting the other shops in between the big focus on Gringotts first and Ollivander's last. I figured, why not buy the items in this game by visiting the stores in the same order? First we go to Madame Malkin's robes for occasions, and Harry meets Draco Malfoy, just like in the book.
Hello, I'm Draco Malfoy.
Harry buys all the clothes on his list, which also corresponds perfectly to the book, even to the extent of buying name tags for them. Harry can then equip clothing to increase his stats, and can wear all of them except one. You must choose between the plain work robe, which increases agility by 4, or the winter cloak, which increases his defenses. Then we go to fluorescent blots, and conveniently buy all the textbooks as a single package. Outside the Cowden shop, a cloaked figure offers to trade Harry a Cersei wizard card in exchange for a Bezoar stone. But in defiance of gaming tropes, this does not result in another side quest. We can buy either a copper or collapsible cauldron. Here the list doesn't specify the type of cauldron, so either will work. Though they are not selling pewter cauldrons, nor gold cauldrons, which Harry wanted to buy before Hagrid stopped him because pewter was specified. The last item is a potion kit bag, which is not on the book's list but could represent the files and scales. Harry buys this in Mr. Mopepper's apothecary, but supposedly the unnamed apothecary Harry went to in the book is a separate place that's just called apothecary. Seriously, it exists as a real-life facade. What an oxymoron, at Universal. Another real fake store is Sugar Plum's Sweet Shop, which came from this very game before being added to the expanded Diagon alley set in later movies. This is an example of a thing initially seen in a game that has become recurring. But Harry doesn't need to buy any sweets for school. Other non-mandatory shops are the Broom Store and the Healer, who will heal Harry to foe for free. You can enter more fights here and thus get hurt if you encounter rats in the side alleys. Why does Diagon Alley have such a big rat problem? Harry returns to Hagrid, who bestows the Owl Hedwig as a birthday gift. He then tells Harry how he must board the Hogwarts Express at King's Cross, and while there is a bit of deniability in the transition, it is implied Harry goes there directly, without waiting the months between his birthday and the departure time for school. But we will definitely have to wait before catching this train, albeit only a week. Now let us return to Lego Harry Potter DS. Here there are separate named levels, and last time we finished the first one, Privet Drive. Now, on to level 2, Gringotts Vault. Griphook joins Harry and Hagrid, and here he looks so goofy, in contrast to his cool anime-looking Game Boy portrait. He is needed to operate goblin machinery in this level, and complete a minigame where you follow a sparkle on the gears. Hagrid's strength is also useful, to pull large cranks. Harry remains essentially useless. This whole level is just obstacles, and 2 sections with the minecart right in between. It was fun to play, but there's nothing really to discuss here. Harry gets to his vault full of Lego money, then the trio board the minecart to exit the level. Level 3, Sopping in Diagon Alley, has Harry and Hagrid visit the stores. They must be visited in a specific order. Ironically, the reverse order they are visited in the book. First, Harry goes to Ollivander's to buy a wand. He tries out 2 wands, which fail before getting his correct wand the 3rd time. In the inventory, you can see the descriptions of the wands Ollivander's gives in the book, but not in the film. Mr. Ollivander actually wants Harry to break his vase here, and he eventually succeeds with the Phoenix Feather Wand. Now Harry can immediately cast the spell Reducto by swiping a straight line on the touchscreen to the target. Now the classic Lego game property destruction can begin. Harry is not supposed to learn this advanced spell of Reducto until his 4th year in canon. Not to be outdone, Hagrid maintains his lead over Harry by remembering he can also use magic. Attempting to do the touchscreen gestures with him in previous levels doesn't do anything. Next, Harry goes to Florissant Blotts to buy his books, but monster books of monsters have escaped and made a mess of the books. Hagrid immediately teaches Harry how to catch Reparo, first tapping the books on the ground and then drawing the accurate circular motion. After stacking all the books back up, Harry gets his school books, again as a single item. Leaving Florissant Blotts, the troublesome monster books of monsters are spotted, and easily destroyed with 1 Reductor Curse each. Last, we go to the first store visited in the book, Madame Malkin's. Here Harry encounters no difficulty, simply walking into its changing room. He immediately begins wearing his robes, which are prematurely Gryffindor branded. We do not see Draco as the fellow customer here, but an old man. Hagrid gives Harry the owl Hedwig for his birthday to finish once again. Hedwig can detect hidden objects when Harry walks close to them. Again, Hagrid tells Harry about getting to King's Cross, and they leave. Now we have one more game to cover for Chapter 5, a new one. How this Philosopher's Stone game came to be was more complicated than you imagine. EA's original 2001 lineup had PC, PlayStation 1, and 2 Game Boy versions. The other relevant consoles at the time were the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo 64. PlayStation 2 could run PS1 games, so there was no need at the time to make a separate release. Ironically, there was never a Harry Potter 64, despite Nintendo's early attempt to buy exclusive rights to the books, with the first games intended to release on the console. The likely reason EA couldn't do what Nintendo don't was that the Nintendo 64 was notoriously expensive to develop for. At the same time in 2001, EA announced the games releasing later that year. They announced plans to bring the first year to PS2 and the upcoming Xbox and GameCube in fall 2002. However, the publisher underestimated Warner Bros.' momentum. With the sequel already able to premiere next year, these plans were shelved to create the second game. EA's UK branch worked with British developer Eurocom to produce a version of the Chamber of Secrets for PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. This was the first cross-platform Harry Potter game, released for the same 3 platforms in the Philosopher's Stone's stead. In 2003, there was no Harry Potter film. This gave EA the opportunity to release the first game as originally planned on those 3 6th-gen systems. The engine for the Chamber of Secrets was reused for another multi-console title, but by a completely different developer, the aptly named Warthog Games. Warthog Games was another British studio, and despite seeming destined to make games about Hogwarts, HP03 was their only Harry Potter game. The next year, Warthog was bought out by the infamous Gizmondo, an upstart Swedish electronics company that released a handheld console in 2005. It bombed, the executives were revealed to be linked to organized crime, and Gizmondo went bankrupt. The developers of Warthog reorganized and started a new small company. Its name was Embryonic Studios. When starting a new game, the intro sees Harry and Hagrid leaving the leaky cauldron and about to enter Diagon Alley. Professor Quirrell is also there, and Hagrid introduces him to Harry. The voiced conversation is verbatim to the book.
Defense against the dark arts. Not that you need it, eh, Potter? You'll be getting all your equipment, I suppose. I've got to pick up a new book on vampires myself.
This choice is interesting, because the film was already out by 2003, with a different introduction.
Fearfully fascinating subject. Not that you need it, eh, Potter?
Warner Bros. Must have given the developers freedom and not policed film consistency. After Hagrid opens the WoW, we cut ahead to the end of the chapter, Ollivanders. Mr. Ollivander takes Harry into another room and allows Harry to choose one of the same 3 wands, Beechwood, Ebony, and Yew, until he selects the correct one. Rather than letting Harry leave now, Ollivander takes Harry into further back rooms of his shop. Harry practices platforming in a large wand warehouse. Harry acquires a spellbook that instantly allows him to cast the
Flipendo knockback jinx.
He blasts some stuff in the next room, and in the one after that learns how to lock onto a target. Ollivander bestows another book to Harry, the Folio Blue Tie, a less monstrous book of monsters. Harry is introduced to 2 vicious imps after reading about them, and uses Flipendo to neutralize them. The last room has a loud turning machine to practice casting on while moving. We extend the screw up into the ceiling, and a second device concealed up there lowers. Finally, Harry learns to delay and cast a more powerful spell, and extends the screw again. Ollivander rewards Harry with a wizard card that looks completely different in the world than the Folio Magi. At last, we leave, and Harry meets Hagrid of Hedwig, who claims
Hogwarts Express is leaving very soon, and you don't want to miss it.
Despite it still being Harry's birthday, July 31st. One eccentricity of the game is that upon collecting the Birdie Bots every flavor beans present throughout Ollivander's backrooms, Harry comments on the flavor every single time.
Liver? Coconut. Yuck! Chocolate. Coconut. Yuck! Grass flavor.
The color of the beans in-game are unrelated to the announced flavor, so it's unclear how Harry can tell what flavor the beans are and still collect them with a counter that goes up. You can't have your bean and eat it too. But when casting magic, Harry rarely says an incantation. But the voice acting is good.
I remember every wand I've ever sold, Mr. Potter. Every single wand. It so happens that the phoenix, whose tail feather is in your wand, gave another feather. Just one other. It is very curious indeed that you should be destined for this wand when its brother. Why, its brother gave you that scar.
Overall, these games that start in Diagon Alley have Harry learn magic earlier than usual, as a sort of tutorial. This is contradictory, but it's a nice setting to visit, so it's unsurprising that several games start here. With Harry all geared up, it's only a matter of time before he will leave for school.